and a vector database to store the knowledge base, and also searching the similarity content from the vector database using a RAG architecture. So what I'll do, I'll create an application from Spring Initializer. I'll give some artifact, chatbot example, chatbot Gen AI, com.example. I think this is fine. I'll just go with this example. Maven is the dependency management tool. They'll go with Java 21 and a property file configuration, chatbot. Okay, I'll add on startup web. Okay, so I'll just download it. Okay, the example is the skeleton is created. Now I'll just import into the Eclipse. Okay, I think I have to extract it. Okay, I'm just importing to Eclipse. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just change this to 3.3.4. Earlier, I worked with this version, and this is a working example, the versions I'm using. So for me, it will be easy without any errors related to the libraries. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll just copy one by one dependency. These things not required for me, just a web module is enough right now. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'll copy this repository also from the Spring AI documentation. This is what we need to use. Okay, the first thing was for creating embeddings to store the knowledge base in vector database, we need a model for embeddings. So for that I'm using a Mistral. So this is embedding model. I'm using Mistral AI, and also I'm just using manual configuration. So what I need to do, I'll just copy this dependency. I'm using this 1.0.0 snapshot version. So this was a working model again when I'm exploring these Spring AI concepts. I'm just taking the same thing. I'm just updating Maven project. Okay. I don't need all these testing modules. Let me what is the package name? So com.chatbot. I think I'll just replace this com.chatbot. That is enough. Okay, so I'll create one configuration class to create all the required beans uh, to develop LLM powered application. I mean, we have to connect with a chat model, that is LLM, and vector database, and all the whatever required to create a RAG-based application. So we'll do all the configurations in this specific configuration class. Okay. I'll go to the documentation. So in the I'm using the manual approach, the manual configuration approach. So as I mentioned, I'm using Mistral for creating embeddings. So I'll go to the Java example how they're doing it. I'll just copy as this. No, but I'll create as a bin because while creating vector database, this bin is required. I'll just expose it as a Spring bin. I'll change that. I'll replace later this with actual value while testing it. I'll just simply return this because this is a bean, right? I don't need this right away. This is not required. So this is a Spring bin. Okay, the Mistral AI embedding model is ready. So basically, we have to define a one more bin for interacting vector database, that is called vector store. So while creating vector store, this bin is basically is required. Replace these values later. Okay, so the next thing I'll go to the vector database in the documentation. Yeah, this is a vector database. I'm using Redis. I've created one account in Redis Cloud. That is a basic account. I mean a pre-tier. Again here also I'm going with a manual configuration. I'll just simply copy this Spring AI Redis store dependency. Okay, now I'll copy the Redis vector related dependency. I'll go with the same version. Okay, so I'll go to Java code. First thing we have to create JD's full bin. This bean is basically, this will be connecting with Redis vector database. We have to supply host name, port number, username and password. I'll just keep it here only. Replace this value, read this letter, host number, port number, username, it's going to be default, password. Yeah, I think I'll replace this password value when I'm testing the complete example. Okay, JD's bin is ready. So next thing is create a vector database. Vector store. This bin is basically responsible for by using this specific We can actually store the knowledge base in vector database and can do the semantic search and all those things we can do is by using this bean, and this was basically a library from Spring AI. I think let's give this bean directly. Okay, so yeah, I'll go with this default values and metadata things. I don't take it right now, so it's not required. You can explore it later what exactly these things. And index name is I think vector database. We can define the index names. Basically, it's a kind of database names uniquely identify different products. And this is a prefix. And yeah, the vector store is ready. And the embedding model is ready. So the next thing is uh, I'll create a chat model because at the end we have to connect with a certain LLM model, right? Either it is a Mistral or OpenAI or a Pro. So in this example, I'll take again Mistral for a chat model. The chat model, so I'll go with Mistral AI. Manual configuration. Yeah, this dependency is already there in my in my pom.xml because I'm using same thing for embeddings also. Okay, this is a chat model. Again, I'll create this as a bean and I'll auto override in my other controller. Controller class where I'll invoke the model. I'll change this return type. I'll replace again this value at the end. Return. Okay. So I think chat absence, and along with chat absence, I think we are missing something. Tool calling manager, retry template, observation registry. I'll add these things. Let's see. Okay, so tool calling manager, I'll take it as some default thing. Similarly, I'll take retry template. Okay. The third parameter is called observation registry. Builder is not there. I guess this is going to be the default configuration. Okay. All are ready. I think this BN is also ready. So Mistral a chat model we're going to use whenever we want to interact the LLM model. Basically when user is ask a question in chat interface. Okay. I'll create a test controller just to answer the questions. And one is to update the knowledge base and one other one is just to answer the question. Suppose I'll just return some string type, update knowledge base. I'll type one request parameter. Knowledge base. Start. Okay, I'll just put something knowledge is updated. So vector database, we are updating the knowledge to the vector database. Yeah, I think this is the code for updating the knowledge base to vector database, and the input for the vector store bin is this add method is a list of documents. So what I'll do, I'll just copy the same thing, the knowledge base. Not this one. This is my another reference actually. Fine. I'll, this is our actual product where we are developing. Okay. I guess I need to update to Java 21. Okay, so the documents are ready. Documents ready. Before that, I think I need to define this as an endpoint. Get mapping. Update knowledge base. Okay. So before that, to update knowledge into the vector database, I need a vector store bin which I created before. This is a vector store bin. Okay, so this is an API for the knowledge base. Now I'll create one more API for the search endpoint. When user asks a question, we have to connect with LLM, right, to get the appropriate response. I'll just replace this value. nothing here. Now you have to do similarity search. Similarity search, we can give the query directly, I think. Input is not documents. So the return type is list of documents. Okay. The knowledge base is ready from vector database. We call it as a context. Next one is I need to connect with LLM model to answer my question. To get the answer for the question. This is a bean which I need. Install a chat model. I think I need to create a prompt template. Prompt templates are required. Basically, this is, a prompt is basically suggest the model to answer a question. It will it will suggest the model how to answer the question. Like, it will take a knowledge base and answer only from this specific context. I have a reference actually. I have one reference of knowledge base which I have worked, while exploring it. I've just used this something like your helpful assistant with expertise in answering question and answers. Use the following context. So what I'm saying, what we are saying in the prompt is answer the question based on the context. Prompt template. So to resolve these values, context and question, let's create a map, because we can supply that map to this prompt or template object. So output of that, there is one method actually to get the final prompt. Before that, I'll just prepare a map with both of the keys, context and question. This is a key. This is a value from the user input. Just copy this instance. Context. This context is going to be the list of documents. I think you have to, let's give this as an object. This one method actually create a prompt by actually we need to supply the variables, right? This is a data map. To resolve both the question and context, we have to supply this map, and the output of this is going to be the prompt. Ready, and get result, get output, get text. So this is the final output is ready. String response. Okay, so both the APIs are ready. One is just to answer the question based on the similarity search, the context information, and another one is just to update the knowledge base. Configurations which are required for all the bins is here, like using Mistral chat model, and for embeddings also we are using Mistral model, and this is called the vector database. So this is a RAG application actually. Earlier I've created one example for the RAG to create a RAG application. Just at the back end, I didn't define end to end. So now we will create all the things which are required, including a page where we can actually invoke these APIs and have that real-time interactions, how it's going to work in a real chatbot. Now I'll create an HTML page, a web app, just to interact the chat model. So this is HTML. I'll just take help of this double-click scrolls documentation. Just create one area where we can actually create a field for the user to enter the question and display the answers about that field. I need one more for creating a chat ID. I'll take a button. Because at the bottom of the page on the right side we have to display an icon like with some text, ask something like ask anything. Right? For that we need a button or some design, right? Button ID. Just take one button. Submit is not required. I'll create one more Java function for calling an API by using Ajax. Chat API. Reference already, one reference which I took already to make it easy for this example for myself. So this is an endpoint where I have this is basically required. Query, I think we have to, when user click on that send button, we have to read that value and call the backend API. So the result we have to replace with some divide in HTML. Okay, I have just created this call API method. Call the search API from the backend controller. So the response is going to be, I'll just populate this message in one of the divide using another HTML method. So this is what I developed one HTML page just to interact the backend Spring API to answer my questions. It's kind of a chatbot example. If you see the send, I have one on click method, and this ID is basically to populate all the chat messages. Okay, my application is started and I have replaced all the actual keys which I created in the in the cloud accounts. Mistral console is one, and another one is vector database. This is my index.html. Yeah, this is just an empty body. I kept some random text. Don't need to worry on this. When I click on chat, the pop-up is opening. I simply ask hi. Yeah, this is the response from agent. Hello, can I assist you for today? If you have any questions for ABCD company, because I have updated some knowledge base before. Now I'll just replace with some new knowledge base, and let's see how it's going to respond. So there was an API, right, for the knowledge base. I'll do it from Postman. This is my previous knowledge actually. So what I'll do, I'll just keep it something different now. And we are restaurant. India. My different branches. Contact phone. Some random number for any dining or bulk orders. Either in Mumbai, USA, Canada, and with all food categories. Next, I'll just update some knowledge base. Okay, the knowledge is updated. I'll just go back to my chat interface. I'll just refresh this. I'll open this. And what are the famous food items in your restaurant? Yeah, see, if we based out on restaurant mention, okay, the provided account of the restaurant mentions offering all the food categories like South Indian, Mexican, etc. However, the document does not explicitly list famous or signature dishes here. The what can infer South Indian toast.